Welcome to my channel. Here I'll be sharing my thoughts on the world's turbulent situation. Let's dive into today's critical update in the Middle East. On September 30th, Israel launched a ground operation into Lebanon. Today, on October 1st, Iran launched around 200 ballistic missiles at Israel in retaliation for the recent killings of Hezbollah and Hamas leaders. Most of the missiles were intercepted, but some did hit, causing injuries, following Israel's killing of Hezbollah's leader and their ground incursion into southern Lebanon. The situation in the Middle East is becoming increasingly intense, and this is exactly what Israel wants to see. Why? First, Israel knows it cannot defeat the axis of resistance on its own. Netanyahu's goal is to bring the United States into the conflict to help the Israel fighting. The war with Hamas has been going on for a year, yet Israel still hasn't won. The axis of resistance, which includes groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, is made up of guerrilla forces rather than traditional armies. They blend in with the civilian population, have extensive combat experience, and are highly mobile. Hamas is considered as a weak enemy, but Israel still hasn't been able to defeat them after a year. Imagine how much harder it would be to fight Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Iran, who backs them all. Israel attacks on Lebanon isn't because they think they're strong, it's the opposite. Israel knows they are weak and needs support from US. Second, Israel's time is running out. In Europe, Ukraine has used NATO weapons to attack Russian territory. This shows that NATO has in fact joined the war, even though NATO hasn't been officially announced. Israel knows they must act quickly. If NATO officially joins the Russia-Ukraine war, US weapons and soldiers will be prioritized for Ukraine, leaving insufficient support for Israel. So, Israel wants to expand the conflict now to ensure that the US will step in to help. Will the US get involved in the Middle East? I believe the answer is yes. Israel is the United States' biggest ally in the Middle East. If Israel faces a critical threat, the US has no choice but to help them. If they don't, the US will lose all of its influence in the Middle East. What's Israel's next step? I think it depends on the United States' decision. If the US joins the fight now and helps Israel against Lebanon and Iran, Netanyahu will be pleased. However, the Democratic Party doesn't want to enter a war right now, especially with the presidential election just a month away. Starting a war would hurt their chances. Because of this, Israel may take even more aggressive actions, like attacking Iran directly. If Iran and Israel officially go to war, the US will have no choice but to join Israel's side. There's only 1 month left before the US election. A lot can happen in this time. This may even be the beginning of World War III. Let's keep watching closely.